journey across the forgotten highways, haunted battlefields, abandoned towns, and shadowed back roads of America, where every legend begins with a story people swear is true. From ghost lights in the desert, to restless spirits trapped in old prisons, from creatures said to roam deep forests, to places so strange, locals refuse to speak of them after dark. These are the mysteries woven into the fabric of America itself. Every pin on this map marks another legend, another unexplained encounter, another place where history and the unknown collide. Some of these stories are folklore, some are based on eyewitness accounts, and some remain unexplained to this very day. So dim the lights, settle in, and prepare to follow the signal into another American legend. Welcome to America's Midnight Legends. And now, here's Alien Mike and Sergeant Shenanigator.
Alien Mike, what's going on there, man?
Oh, another day in paradise. How are you?
I am doing great, but I said that wrong. Hey, Mike, how y'all doing down there?
We're doing perfect.
Yeah, I had to throw that Southern accent in because where we're heading today.
Yeah, we're fixing to have some fun.
We fixing to have some real fun. And no, we ain't making fun of the South. We both love the South.
Oh, yeah. Lived there for a long time.
Yes.
So what do we got for
today? We're going to, what is it?
Abbeville, Alabama.
That's right. We did agree that Abbeville was how we were going to pronounce it, even if we were pronouncing it wrong.
Yep, it took me a second to think of it, but yep. Good old Huggin Molly.
Oh, Huggin Molly. This one shocked me. I was not expecting to really get into this as much as I did.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff with this one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really a big paranormal thing. The stories are always the same, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it really was. So,
excuse me.
Yep.
So, usually we begin with the history of the area, and I'm going to sum up the history of the area real quick. It's small town Mayberry, USA.
Yep.
I could describe it to you. I mean, they have gone in and completely revitalized the main shopping area, but it is still small town USA.
Yep. Just a good old country town.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. I could tell you about the see, I can't come up with anything.
Nope. Not at all.
So what I thought I would do is just give a quick, not the ghost stories, but kind of a history of Hugging Molly herself, but
okay.
not the stories, more along the lines of if you go out and you research this, you're going to find that Hugging Molly, everybody claims, is of Irish or European folklore. And I thought this is going to be really fun because both of us love folklore.
Oh, yeah.
But I found out it was wrong.
Yep.
So they try and connect Hugging Molly to the Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, without getting into what Hugging Molly does, they are complete opposites.
Yeah.
Hugging Molly is, what would we come up with? About 7 feet tall?
Yeah, about 7 feet tall.
And all dressed in black.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time dressed in black.
Yeah. I've seen a little bit where people have said it's white or off-white, gray, but it's very, very few.
Yeah. And a Banshee, I mean, it's not even anywhere near 7 feet tall.
No.
The similarities are that she doesn't kill, even though original stories back in the 1800s, she did kill. But there's absolutely no proof of that. that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You know, a banshee is a supernatural fairy woman or spirit. Hugging Molly, a 7 foot tall. I mean, it's an AI rendition, but that's basically Hugging Molly. And
Yep.
I remember growing up and reading stories about the banshee. Nowhere near that.
Oh no. The one thing that I did want to throw in that I found interesting, we talked about yesterday, is there are some reports where she is wearing a hat. And I thought it was interesting because it reminded me so much of a previous episode we did of the Hat Man.
Yeah, I thought about that after we talked yesterday. And that was really weird because that is the hat they describe.
Yeah.
And for this period of clothing that she's supposedly dressed in, it would be more of a bonnet.
Yeah. So that's what it really threw me off. I mean, and you didn't find many stories where she wore that hat. So I don't know, maybe whatever these individuals saw was not the same thing.
Yeah. It's hard to know.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting.
Here's where I really got into it. So I can't really see the Irish connection, even though back when the town embraced Hugging Molly, which they still do, but not as much as they used to.
Right.
It was always an Abbeville legend.
Yeah.
But the original reports actually started around Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City area near the end of the 19th century.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of just went, I believe Abbeville is southwest of Phoenix City. So it dropped south, moved into there. But Hugging Molly has been reported across the whole state of Alabama, parts of Georgia.
Yeah.
So it is a Southern legend.
Yep.
But Abbeville seems to be the heart of it.
Oh, yeah.
So with my quick history, what you got for stories, Mike?
So the main story that I wanted to read that I had found was a gentleman named Tom. And I'll read it kind of close to how the story was written. Said the road outside Abbeville was nearly empty. Tom had heard stories about Hugging Molly his whole life, and everyone knew the legend. A strange woman who wandered the roads after dark. She would appear out of nowhere and wrap her arms around unsuspecting travelers. But Tom didn't believe in ghosts. Not until he saw the woman standing beneath the oak trees. She was tall, dressed in an old-fashioned black dress, her long hair hanging over her face. He slowed his truck, and the woman stepped into the road. He slammed on the brakes. When he looked again, she was gone. Then he heard something behind him, a soft whisper that said, "I'm cold." Tom froze. Two pale arms suddenly wrapped around his shoulders from the back seat. He couldn't move. He could feel the woman's freezing breath against his ear. "Just hold me." Tom screamed and threw open the driver's door, stumbling into the road. But when he turned around, the truck was empty. But on the fogged-up rear window were two handprints, and beneath them, written slowly through the condensation, were 4 words: "I'll see you tomorrow." So that was one that I just saw that was kind of fun. But in that one, he's in his truck driving down normal road, sees somebody off by the trees, and then they're in the truck. There's other stories where they'll be walking down a dirt road and the same thing happens. But in most of the other stories, when she wraps her arms around you, she screams. And then that's it. Lets you go and moves on. But then she's seen in forests, the city, buildings, everywhere. I mean, it's not specific to one location.
Yeah, I most of the stories that I caught on YouTube, on podcasts talking about this, or that I read online, it was like most of them happened after the sun went down.
Yep.
In the middle of the road.
Yeah.
In the city.
Yep. Oh yeah.
and people swear by these.
I could not imagine what that would be like.
No,
I mean, that's yeah,
yeah. So I guess the big question is hugging Molly really what they claim her to be, or was it a southern version of the boogeyman?
my opinion, and based off of everything that I have read, it to me is the classic boogeyman story that the parents tell their kids, to, if you don't come home when the streetlights come on, type of thing, something is going to get you.
Yeah. And there are other reports and other stories.
Mhm.
I know that they want to say that this legend came from Ireland because when Abbeville was settled, it was a majority Irish.
Right.
But I looked up some others out of just the United Kingdom. There's the Black Anise. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because the other way I was going to pronounce it did not sound right at all in my brain. And then there's Jenny Greenteeth. And both of these are frightening female hag figures used to frighten children. Jenny Greenteeth from the moss, she keeps children away from dangerous waters. The Black Anise, it's basically hugging Molly. It's a way to get kids back in the house after dark.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So you start looking at all this folklore and start tracing it back, and all of a sudden it's like, all right, how did Frau Perchta from Germany, who is the supernatural enforcer, how did she end up in a similar story under Jenny Greenteeth?
Yeah.
When they didn't have email back then, when these stories first started coming out, they very seldom had contact with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought about that a lot this episode, and I know we had talked about it on a previous one, because you're right. There's no email, at the time of the telephone, I'm sure people were calling, but writing letters. Other than that, I think it was somebody goes to visit, the States, they go to Germany and they hear this story and they go, oh, well, that's interesting. That's scary or frightening. I can use that to scare my kids. And they bring it back, and then it just kind of spirals.
The closest one I found was out of Indonesia, and I'm going to screw this name up completely, but it's the Wee Gombo.
Okay.
All right. And this is a female spirit who politely takes children, ultimately to protect them over something stupid they're about to do. Mm-hmm. And then when the time's right, they return them. And that's as close as I got to hugging Molly from all those other stories until you get to the Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go into Baba Yaga. That's a huge story.
Oh yeah.
But what really fascinates me is growing up. I mean, we had our folklore. We had jackalope. We had snipe hunting.
I can't tell you how many times I fell for that one when I was younger.
Oh, geez.
And it's like, oh, you didn't get a snipe this time? Well, better luck next time. And then finally you're old enough to realize that they're just giving you shit.
Oh, yeah. And nobody hunts snipe the same way. Some it's salt on their tail. You have to do it with a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Others, you have to shake directly on the tail. Yeah, you have to put it on their head. So I love folklore stories about that. But when you start tying them all together,
right?
It's like, all right, Frau Perchta, La Llorona, Jenny Greenteeth, Baba Yaga, the Wee Gombo. why can't they all be the same? And what if?
Mm-hmm. I kind of, this episode, it made me think that they were essentially all the same, but in different ways. You know, just culturally different, but it's the same thing.
But I mean, where does the folklore come from? Because how many times growing up in history classes did you hear about dragons being fought? Whether it was Asian history or
Right.
European history, there's always mention of dragons. Well, why are you teaching me this in history class if dragons are folklore?
Right. It is definitely interesting how it all comes about.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there's people that study this, and I mean, you can only trace a legend so far, and then you're kind of at a standstill, you know?
Yeah. And this one alone is a fun legend.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, the only thing, and I know this has happened with more than a few of our episodes, is it sounds like a great legend. We get into it and we want to tell a few stories, but then it's like, okay, well, it's exactly the same thing. Just instead of on A street, you're on B street.
Yeah.
You know, but it's the same exact.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say it's the same story, the same things happen, you know, to each person for the most part, you know. So that's the only part that was, I guess it's hard because I want to read all these stories and it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. The only one I found that was different was, I mean, it claimed to be a YouTube documentary on Hugging Molly. And it ended up being a Blair Witch style mockumentary, to where Hugging Molly is now associated with a dang cult being operated in the woods outside of Abbeville, Alabama, which, according to this movie, the chief of police or the sheriff is completely corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
There are two distinct Abbevilles, one the bad side that nobody ever goes to and all the buildings are abandoned, and then there's the good side. And you know as well as I do, you're going to find that in any southern town, but it wasn't as bad as they were describing.
That's so funny. Yeah.
So if you go out and you find a 53-minute video on Hugging Molly, and it doesn't start talking about keeping the children off the streets before the sun goes down, warnings to kids to make sure they don't do things. If it starts going a different direction, no, you're in for a 53-minute, what I honestly believe was a first-year film student's midterm exam.
I'm going to have to find this. I know you mentioned it the other day.
It was entertaining. I'm not going to give the name because,
yeah,
you know,
I'll
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you find it, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And at the very end, for like 2 seconds, Hugging Molly hugged somebody and screamed. Other than that, you didn't see Hugging Molly ever in the Hugging Molly documentary. Never saw her.
That's too funny. People using it just to garner attention.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, so as the quick breakdown, if I and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Hugging Molly, great folklore in Abbeville, started out throughout Alabama as a warning to get kids home before the sun went down, keep them off the streets.
Yep.
There is some paranormal associated with Abbeville, and maybe it is Hugging Molly, or maybe it's just they're so close to each other that the folklore just kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
I think it's a great legend, and just like what I've got written here. I wrote the basic pattern down for everything. It says child stays out too late, hears or sees something behind them, realizes a huge woman is following, they run. She catches them, gives them a big enormous strong hug, ear-splitting scream, Molly disappears, kid runs home.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think that, like I was saying earlier, is be home before the lights go, or be home when the street lights come on. Do not stay out late, or you're going to be kidnapped, or something bad's going to happen. It's just a way to frighten kids to do what their parents tell them.
Where you live right now, luckily my parents were just the street light.
Mhm.
Street lights come on, you better be home.
Yep.
Got a little bit older and the curfew became 10 o'clock.
Yep.
When the 10 o'clock curfew siren goes off, you better be home.
Yep.
I know they don't do that anymore, but yeah, 10 o'clock every night, that air raid siren went off to let kids know they need to get home. And at the exact same moment, parents had to be reminded they had children with it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
I remember that when I was really little.
Yeah.
Then times have definitely changed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine letting Dory out of my sight for longer than, I don't know, 1/100th of a second.
Yeah. My
I
parents
had a death grip on that poor child walking through New York City because I didn't want her to wander more than a half an inch away from me.
Oh yeah. I get crap from my family because it isn't the same as when I was growing up.
No.
It's like we'd go out, bad stuff happens, but it's a completely different time. Now, everything with the advent of social media and everything, it's easy to find people. You don't know what's going to happen. So I let them do things, but I'm protective.
Now I am absolutely sure. I mean, West Jordan, Salt Lake County area, Poughkeepsie, New York City, we're not going to have these legends.
No.
Anymore. We had them in the past, but those days are done.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you get to just outside of Tremont, up in that tiny little community between Tremont and the Idaho border.
Like Garland.
I'm sure up there in farm country, it's still be home when the streetlights come on.
Yeah. My brother lives
but
in
it's
Garland.
a different culture there than it is here.
Yep. That's where my brother lives. And I've gone up there and it's being developed, but it's still completely opposite of here. It's
the warning up there, I'd never heard this, so I'm not sure. But to me, the warning up there would be home before the sun goes down or the coyotes will get you.
Yep. I can see that.
I don't know how many times watching the news back in Utah, it's like, hey, if you're in this area, get your pets inside because coyotes are roaming.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, what? Just a quick conversation. What kind of legends besides the snipe and the jackalope did you grow up with? I know you were in Georgia too.
Legends and stuff. I was trying to think of this, and I honestly, other than the snipe and jackalope and stuff, I don't recall really anything. If anything, they would just tell me that if you're not home, you're going to be kidnapped or something bad's going to happen. But it was never a folklore legend with me.
Yeah. For me, when we went camping, it was always ghost stories around the campfire.
Oh,
and it was always Papa Shenanigator coming up with some elaborate ghost story that, the ending's usually and he's pulling your leg and he's pulling your leg out the door and he's pulling hard on your leg. He's pulling on your leg just like I'm pulling on yours now.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried so hard to think of stuff. We did tell ghost stories and stuff, but my parents weren't really the ones that told stuff like that. It was usually when I was with friends that we were screwing with each other.
Oh yeah, and those were fun.
Yeah.
I know my grandfather when I was young. I wish I could remember it, but when I was like 8 or 9, is right around that time that you're trying to, you're still not double digits yet, but you're trying to come into your own and show
Yep.
that you're a man that weighs 62 pounds.
Yep.
And my grandfather told me something that he was a great storyteller, but he told this, and it was enough to scare me where I didn't want to go outside when the sun started going down.
Really?
And I wish I could remember what he told me.
Yeah, that's now I'm intrigued. I want to know. See, I was always the one, my parents didn't like it, but I was the kid that I read a lot, and I read horror stuff, a lot of horror stuff, and I watched horror movies. So I was never really that scared. So I mean, they could say stuff to me, and I'd be like, that's no worse than what I read. Come on now, it's so they never really tried.
But while we're at this point, if you guys have any legends from growing up, post them in the comments. We'd love to read them. I want to learn more about legends of your area.
Yeah.
If you're down in the Alabama area, let us know about Hugging Molly.
Yep.
But whatever area you're from, throw a comment in there, a quick story about the legends you grew up with, and I guarantee we'll be researching them.
Oh yeah, I scour the internet, social media, everything, looking for different things like this constantly.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how many pages I'm on, and it's me reading something and then talking to somebody like, holy crap, really? Explain more. Just learn stuff.
I love to bring this up because of how hard we were all laughing. But the Yule lads, I've heard about them and I've read about them before, but until hearing you tell the story, it was never that funny. It was always like, yeah, okay, that sounds legit. Why not?
An interesting story, yeah. And when I picked that, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I thought it was going to be something easy to get through, and I had a hell of a time getting through that. It was.
I had a hell of a time just listening to it because you had me in tears over here.
It was a great legend, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I think as far as legends go, I rate this up there with the Boogeyman.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With a Southern flair.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I really liked about this one in particular is I am huge. I love movies and stuff about different boogeymen and all that.
Oh yeah.
And so this one, I mean, it fits right in that category.
It absolutely does. Do I hope there's really a figure down there called Hugging Molly and she's a paranormal? Yes, I absolutely hope that.
100%.
But I tend to lean on this is 100% folklore made up to scare kids.
Yep.
Especially when the town turned around and embraced it so hard that it ended up being a tourist trap for a while.
Yeah.
Where they even imposed a phony curfew to prevent tourists from being hugged by Hugging Molly.
That would have been fun to experience that.
Yeah, that would have. And I'm pretty sure it still goes on down there. Mm-hmm. It's just they've kind of gotten away from it as being their main focal point because there is some really good history in Abbeville.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
But I don't think – I think somebody was like, this will bring in tourist dollars. And they're like, well, now it might be bringing in too many tourist dollars.
Yep.
So, but that's all I've got for Hugging Molly. What you got?
Honestly, I think that's all I have as well. I mean, it was, other than saying it was a lot of fun. And if people are interested in Boogeyman Legends, definitely check it out.
Oh, yeah. Check out Hugging Molly. And before you leave our page, hit that like and subscribe, and give us some love or whatever. Just leave a comment. Also, that infamous blorp bell over there.
Oh yes,
that thing, and that I think few people haven't been smashing it because our technical difficulties have started increasing.
yeah, oh yeah. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah. So smash that blorp. Help us out with the tech support stuff. Plus, it notifies you when our next videos drop.
There you go.
Other than that, Mike, all I've got is stay spooky
and keep watching the skies.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you next time.